Week 1 of the NFL is officially in the books, and joining me now to recap the big weekend from the AFC are FanNation publishers Hondo Carpenter, Chad Jensen, and James Rapine. Hondo, let's go to you first. The Raiders took on the Chargers, weren't able to get the win, but Devontae Adams was pretty exciting to watch. What were your biggest takeaways from this game?
The first one was that the Raiders didn't play good, Claudette, and still had a chance to win it at the end of the game. 5 sacks, 3 interceptions by Derek Carr, which is not the way Derek Carr has played over his career. I think there are no moral victories in the NFL, but if you're the Raiders, you're a loaded roster, a loaded team. That's a very good Chargers team. And you came away playing really bad with a chance to win. I've been there all week at the facility. There is nobody's down. Everyone's pretty encouraged by that game, not because they played poorly, but they're encouraged that they played poorly and still had a chance to win. I think if anything, it's solidified that this Raider team is pretty loaded.
All right, Chad, we got to talk about this Monday Night Football matchup. Russell Wilson, of course, now the face of the Denver Broncos. He went to Seattle. The team was not able to get the win as well, which was a big shock to a lot of people. What were your biggest takeaways from last night?
Well, first and foremost, it's that Nathaniel Hackett, there is going to be some growing pains, some trial and error learning curve, and it's to be expected with any first-time head coach, but perhaps even more so when it's a first-time head coach who hires first-time coordinators at all 3 spots on his staff. That came out in spades on Monday night. Lack of discipline, lack of poise. It was quite sloppy, quite ugly, but similar to what Hondo said about the Raiders, the Broncos really did not play well, but still basically had a chance and should have won it at the end if Nathaniel Hackett doesn't make the curious decision to sit down the guy that just paid $245 million to a quarterback on 4th and 5, who has a career mark of converting 68% of those tries, to try a 64-yard attempt field goal to hopefully win the game. They were down 1 point from a kicker who has never connected on 62 yards plus.
Yeah, that 64-yard field goal was definitely questionable and got a lot of criticism over social media after the game. Another team that did not play up to their standards were the Cincinnati Bengals. They took on the Pittsburgh Steelers. James, what happened out there with Joe Burrow and company?
Well, let's start with Joe Burrow. 5 turnovers, 4 interceptions. I wouldn't put all of them on Joe, but really uncharacteristic. And despite that, having a -5 turnover differential, they were still and should have won the game. And so I think Burrow deserves some credit there. But 2 things that really concern me, and it isn't Burrow throwing a bunch of interceptions, because I think he'll clean that up. It's the offensive line, still 7 sacks. They really struggled against that Steelers defensive front, especially in the first half. And the second thing is late in the game, Zach Taylor had some questionable decisions, including he decided not to challenge what would have been a touchdown for Jamar Chase with less than 3 minutes to go. So coaching miscues, turnovers, offensive line play, 3 big question marks, and that's why the Bengals are 0-1 after an ugly game against the Steelers.